So for this video, we're going to talk about some of the things that we're not recreating and how to blend our modern world with the goal of this perfectly / plausibly period feast. And Doña Mora is going to be telling us about all of that today. So Mora.
Yes, thank you. So we're creating an immersive event that is set in a particular place and time in history. And our hope is to make that event as immersive as possible, to have what everyone is wearing, to have all of the materials that we're using for the dining, to have the decor, to have the food, to have the entertainment, all be contributing to this sense of experiencing a different place and time in history. And so that's kind of a mutual project that every attendee is a part of. So we're aiming for as much authenticity as possible. We would like everyone to come in authentic garb as much as possible. You know, we've been doing quite a bit of research. It's available. If you need assistance with that, please come onto our Discord and ask for any help you need with getting details together. And that goes from head to toe, right? That's like your headwear all the way down to what shoes you're wearing, ideally. That said, there are, we're not always going to be able to meet the perfect mark. We are not able to do sheep to shawl with every piece of this event. We know that, we accept it. So where we are unable to be perfectly authentic, we want to get as close as possible. We want to get to the appearance of the authentic thing. We want to be, you know, if it's not exactly that place and time, maybe it's an earlier documentation for an earlier time in the same place. Maybe it's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And we are going to have some modern stuff that's just going to have to be present and we're dealing with. We're going to have spaces in the event that are intended to be the immersive spaces. And then we're going to have spaces in the event that are sort of our support areas where more modern things are happening. So when you come to the event, we're going to have the garden, and the garden is going to be one of the immersive spaces. It's not going to start being immersive until after our orientation. The orientation is going to happen under a shaded canopy in the garden, and that will be out of immersion. But then we're going to transition into the dining area, the feast hall, and that area will also be immersive. So we're going to want to avoid having anything modern in that space. We're going to want to keep our cell phones out, definitely no other cameras, you know, etc. Ideally, you enter only with historic feeling items. That said, there is a vestibule between the garden and the feast hall. There is an entrance area that has access to the bathrooms and is going to have storage cubbies. Those storage cubbies will be a place if you have some modern effects that you need to have with you and you can't leave in your car. You will be able to store them either in those storage cubbies or there's like actually some storage shelves in the bathrooms that we can make use of. So, so if you need to have your cell phone with you, if you have medication, if you have any other personal effects that you want to have with you, your keys for your car, etc., those are good places to put them. Um, Obviously, if you have some sort of pouch on you as well and you want to keep your keys in your pouch, you probably can do that and then just not take them out. That's probably going to be fine. But we will have storage area in the vestibule for folks to take. If you need to take a call or use your phone, you can get your item out of the vestibule, exit through the garden, and go out into our entrance walk area. The entrance walk area, we were going to have a photo booth. And that will be an area where it's fine to deal with your cell phone, to deal with something modern, and then re-enter the immersive space of the garden and the feast hall as necessary. Um, However, you're totally allowed, if you have medication, please bring your medication. Our first goal is to be safe. So we're any compromises that we need to be safe. And we're working to make compromises for accessibility as well, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, if you need your medication, if you have medical shoes that mean you can't wear a more historic looking pair of shoes because you need your particular shoes, that's completely fine. That is not a problem. So work to hide your modern stuff, but anything that's really absolutely necessary, we understand. And if you have any questions or would like help figuring out what the best solution is, please see me or any of the service staff, the servants, which is as they would have been referred to historically. We don't really use that word now as much, but in this case, you're going to have a number of servants of the prince walking around and available to assist you at any time with anything you need. A few other modern things that we're going to have. A few of our decor items are going to be not made out of historic materials, but made to be shaped and have the appearance of the modern things. And candles in particular. We have a number of beautiful miniatures that show these very sturdy candle holders with candles in them that are set on the floor near the dining areas or near the areas where people are sitting or socializing. So we're going to be having these candles on the floor. And for safety purposes, and additionally because our site does not allow like fire that is not enclosed, we're going to be using LED candles in those rather than actual fire. So that is a compromise that we're making for safety as well. Um, in our hygiene and etiquette video, I mentioned a few things specific to the dining process itself. Historically, spoons would be used in a shared bowl of soup. We are going to be having spoons. We're going to be having some thick stews that those spoons will be used for, and rice pilafs, things like that. Though you can also use your bread. There'll be pita bread that you can kind of pick things up with. But when you use your spoon, it will be with something fairly thick and not a watery or liquidy soup where we're getting unhygienic trading of germs. And we're also not sharing cups, which would be historically done. Every diner is going to be having their own drinking vessel, which will be washed in between users. Yeah, and I will mention for accessibility, one of the accommodations we're making because we're sitting on the floor, that we're going to have cushions, ideally of various heights, so you can sit on a fairly raised cushion. You can also, as I mentioned in our etiquette video, have our servants come and assist you. We have young, strapping assistants who are happy to come over and assist you with both sitting down and getting up. If you would like that, please partake of that. I may very well partake of that because that sounds fun to me. Please come and help me. I think I will enjoy that quite a lot. But we also are going to have several raised daises in addition to the prince's dais. We'll have three other raised daises that are going to be back against the other wall of the feast hall. And for folks who really don't feel like they can get down onto the ground easily, they will be able to sit down onto this raised rock platform on which they will dine. They'll then kind of scoot over onto a pillow that will let them lean their back against the wall. So they'll have good back support and they'll have a cushion. They'll still have their feet, relatively underneath them. But then at the end, when they need to get up again, they'll be able to scoot back over to that edge of the platform, put their feet down on the floor, and then stand up from a more seated position rather than from all the way down on the floor. So hopefully that is a sufficient accommodation for some of our folks who aren't in a place where they're ready to recreate that aspect of how things were done at that time. Safety first, always. If something comes up where we need to break the immersion because of a safety issue, we are 100% going to do that. But if at all possible, please take your modern things outside and do your best to help contribute to our authentic space.
Thank you very much for that conversation, Maura, and for helping us kind of understand better the parameters and how this feast is going to feel for us.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much.
Much appreciated.